Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. Well, in the last video that I just did here in the studio, I talked about how to file your digital files. In this video, I want to talk about what should you do if you have a problem and you lose some images off of your camera card. Now, before I get into that, I want to go through a whole bunch of stuff. First thing is, get yourself a very good filing system and get into a routine so that when you go and do a shoot, whether it be for a client, whether it be for yourself, that you, as soon as the shoot is done, you come back to your office if it's at an office, or your home if it's at your home, and you download those files and you make sure that they are on your computer before anything happens. And I don't care if it was just a picture that you took at a park, but if it was a picture that you want, bring it home, download it, and make sure that it's on your computer. And make sure it is backed up. Make sure it's filed correctly, and so on and so forth. Once that's done, then you can go through and you can delete your camera card. Now, why do I tell you to delete your camera card, or actually format your camera card, when you're done downloading it? Because so many people will see pictures on their camera card and they forget, did I download this one already? Has this one been filed? Should I do something with this one? What's happening? If you do it every time you take pictures, that will help a lot. Plus, if you format your camera card every time you download it, there will never be these stray images on your camera card that you're going to be worried about. So go take pictures, come home, save them to your computer, back them up, then format your camera card. But what should happen if you come home and you put them on your card in your computer and there's nothing there? What happens if you hit view pictures while you're out in the field and there's nothing there? What should you do? Well, one thing that you should do is immediately stop and relax. I know it's scary. Believe me, been there, done that. But if you panic, things go worse as you panic. Perfect example of this, a number of years ago, had a customer, went out, did a shoot, totally lost it because when he came home, his card was empty. Now, he just panicked. He went nutso. Finally, after about 2 or 3 hours, he called me up, says, can you do anything? Brought me his card in. We ran the card. Nothing was even on the card close to what it was. Just so happened, I said, just off my cuff, you don't have another camera card, do you? And his eyes lit up and he went, oh, shoot. He went running home, and sure enough, in his camera bag, he has 3 similar camera cards, and one of them had his pictures on it. But because he reacted, because he panicked, he didn't think that through. So relax. It's scary. I get it. First thing, check to see if you have another camera card. Put the camera card that you think should have those images on it back in the camera and view them. Do not take pictures. Just view it. Do they come up? It could be your card reader. It could be your computer. There could be many things. They may be on that card. If they don't show on a computer and if they don't show on your camera, shut your camera off, take the card out, and don't do anything. Do not take a picture. Do not take a video. Don't do anything. If you're around Southern Alberta, or if you're around a place with a good camera shop, take your card to that camera shop. If it's Southern Alberta, bring it to me, and we will run recovery on your card. Now, the recovery will go through and it will pull up any images that it can find that are not corrupted. And sometimes it will even pull up some of the corrupted images. But it will pull up all the images. If you've taken a picture over top of the images that are missing, we cannot do a thing to bring up those images. So please understand, if you panic, if you start taking pictures, if you do anything, you're going to cause more trouble than what it is if they're just missing. I had a gentleman that was on his way back from Chicago one time. He phoned me at the airport. I think he was in Toronto. And he says, I took all these pictures. I'm down here for business. He says, they all disappeared off my camera card. What can I do? I says, relax. Don't do anything. Don't look at it in your camera again. As soon as you get back into Lethbridge, bring it over to me. Well, he brought it over to me. We ran recovery and we found everything on his card. What I think happened was that while he was viewing the images, he somehow formatted the card and erased everything. If he would have shot pictures over top of it, he would have been in big trouble. But because he relaxed, because he brought them to me, we were able to recover the images and away he went. So if you have a problem, check them in the computer, check the card in the computer, check the card in the camera, bring your card to somebody to recover them, and go from there. Now, part of the problem a lot of people have is they don't have good camera card hygiene, should we call it, and they don't format their camera card on a regular basis. So before you get into trouble, make sure you're getting rid of your pictures off your camera card, downloading them, backing them up, formatting your card, using it again, doing the same thing, formatting your card, and get into that routine. Don't leave 1,000 images on your card. Don't leave music on your card. Don't leave other stuff on your card. Just your images. Now, what happens if you cannot get them recovered by somebody like me or a photography place because you're not around somewhere? You can get programs. SanDisk has a program. I think it's called their Rescue Pro. And Lexar has one, and I cannot remember their name right now. There's independent companies that have them that you can download. Now, it takes some time. The larger cards can take 24 hours, 48 hours. If they're in really bad shape, I've had them take over 48 hours to get the images off of them. So understand, it's a long process, and you should be putting it on a good computer, not a slow computer, so that it can run through this and take the time. What happens if recovery doesn't work? Well, if it's a card problem, if let's say you're out shooting pictures and the card all of a sudden says this card is not formatted, or this card cannot be read, or this card cannot be written to, that's probably a problem with the card. Now, the first thing I would do is try it in a different device. It may be your camera as well, or try a different card in your camera and see if that works. I've had cards where I've had issues with the card. Worked great for years, and then all of a sudden it couldn't be read or written to. Sent it back to the camera manufacturer, and they said, yep, the card fried. They sent me a new card. Fortunately, in all my instances, I did not have pictures on there that were urgent. But what happens if you do have pictures? A number of the manufacturers, the reputable ones, will actually warranty and guarantee their cards for a certain amount of time. And if you have problems, they will do their best to pull the images off of the card. A lot of times it's a little processor that's in the card that fries, and they can somehow hook it up to a different machine and it will be able to pull your images off. That's in a good case scenario. But what happens if you can't get your images off? And what happens if you're doing this for a customer? Well, this is where you need to be honest. This is where you need to have a good contract. This is where you need to do everything you can do to please your customer and try to get through this problem. Now, if it's a wedding, I sincerely hope that you use a camera that shoots to 2 separate cards. I really do. Because if you have a camera that shoots to 2 separate cards, you should have all the images on another card. But what happens if you don't? What happens if you have a camera that only shoots to 1 card? And what happens if it was a wedding? Well, go to the client immediately and explain it. You may have to pay for hair and makeup to be done for the ladies. You may have to rent a tuxedo and have the shoot redone and go out on a day that's convenient to them and reshoot it. There may be other repercussions for you, but do it immediately. The longer you put it off, the more annoyed they're going to be. What happens if it's a family, maternity session, a graduation session, a commercial shoot? Immediately. As soon as you're done the shoot, you should be going back to wherever your office is and making sure the images are on your computer. If you can't get the images on your computer, phone your client immediately and tell them, I'm going to have to reshoot this, and explain why. Be honest, be upfront. Don't wait. Don't try to extend the time, because they're just going to get more angry. Refund them their money. Do the shoot for free. Whatever you can to make them happy. Even if you can potentially get the images back, I would reshoot as soon as possible, just in case you can't get the images back. Now, one last thing. Don't buy cheap cards. Please don't buy no-name cards. Had a lot of trouble over the years with no-name cards not working correctly and people having lots of problems with them. So please, buy the name brand cards. Buy cards that have warranty with them. Buy cards that you can trust. Even then, you may have problems, but you'll have less problems. So until next time, get out there, get some pictures. Make sure you're saving them. Reformat your card and enjoy it. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.